From VOA Learning English, this is Technology in Special English. The Asian Development Bank has approved a $300 million loan to help finance an electric vehicle program in the Philippines. The goal is to reduce pollution. The money will help pay for tricycles powered by electricity, or e-trikes. The Philippines wants to have 100,000 of the vehicles on the road by 2017. E-trike driver Alfredo Forello says the battery can operate for 5 or 6 hours. He pays $1.25 to charge the battery. He says in the past, he spent as much as $4 a day on fuel for gasoline-powered tricycle. Tricycle drivers usually pay about $4 a day to rent their vehicles from operators. Alfredo Forello says he earns about $17 a day from driving an e-trike after costs. That is more than double the average daily earning of someone driving a gas-powered tricycle. The e-trike can carry as many as 8 passengers. The vehicle has a roof that protects passengers from the sun and rain. The city of Mandaluyong chose Alfredo Forello to help with a demonstration program of 20 e-trikes. The director of the city's Tricycle Regulation Office says the Asian Development Bank chose Mandaluyong because of its desire to keep the air clean. He says the city will offer a rent-to-own program for the e-trikes. The electronic vehicles cost about $5,000. Traditional motorcycles cost about $3,000. There have been bumps in the road, however. 7 of the city's 20 e-trikes already need repair, and waiting for parts is slowing down the program. Bank and city officials have now learned that manufacturers must fully guarantee their parts. For VOA Learning English, I'm Carolyn Prasuti.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Technology Report. Africa has become a growing market for high technology products. It may soon become a base for many more high-tech companies as well. Experts predict growing competition in Africa as technology companies and others attempt to meet the needs of young and middle-class populations. DHL calls itself the logistics company for the world. Logistics is the process of planning complex activities involving people and resources. DHL provides transportation by train, road, sea, and air. The company sees Africa as a place where its business can expand. But for that to happen, more international companies will need to invest and set up operations there. Sumesh Rahavendra is with DHL. He says there is a lot of evidence of growing operations by multinational companies in Africa. They include SAP, IBM, and Hisense, a Chinese state-owned company. Sumesh Rahavendra is the company's head of marketing for sub-Saharan Africa. He says the area offers many possibilities for growth. He points out that many people who never used a desktop computer are now using tablets and smartphones. He describes the continent's 1 billion people as a largely untouched market for many kinds of products. DHL has been operating in Africa for more than 35 years. Sumesh Rahavendra predicts that as more and more companies set up operations in Africa, DHL's business will increase. DHL says Africa is now the world's second largest mobile technology market by connections after Asia. In addition, it is the fastest growing mobile communications market in the world. For VOA Learning English, I'm Laurel Bowman.
I'm Alex Villarreal with the VOA Special English Technology Report. Dogs are known for a strong sense of smell. Their noses can be trained to identify different odors. Dogs are often used in search and rescue operations and to sniff for things like drugs and explosives. Some dogs have even been trained to sniff for cancer in people. Researchers have been trying to reproduce the extraordinary sense of smell that dogs are born with. Now, officials at the Glasgow airport in Scotland are testing a new security device called an electronic sniffer dog. The electronic sniffer dog represents one of the latest developments in the area of smell technology. A Scottish company, Cascade Technologies, joined with the French security company Morpho to develop it. The device uses lasers to identify explosive material in gases in the air. The purpose is to identify explosives that may be hidden on a person's body. The machine looks similar to the metal detectors now used at airports. Passengers walk through the machine as the lasers test the surrounding air. People are not required to take off their coats, belts, or shoes as part of the security process. And, unlike full-body scanners, the new device does not show images of the passenger. Officials at Cascade Technologies say the machine can process one person per second and produce almost immediate results. They say future developments could cut security processing times at airports by screening all passengers at walking speed. Professor Yushan Yen is the head of Chemical and Environmental Engineering at the University of California, Riverside. His research team has been working on a similar sniffer device since 2008. He points out that, unlike real dogs, electronic devices do not get tired or need to be walked or require food and water. Professor Yen says real sniffer dogs also have other needs. He said, they also need very extensive training that could be expensive. And when they work, they have to have a very skilled handler around them. But Professor Yen says in his experience, there is an important area where man's best friend still wins compared to technology. He said dogs are able to identify extremely small amounts of explosives. But Professor Yen says electronic sniffer technology is developing quickly and could have a lot of uses in the future. For VOA Special English, I'm Alex Villarreal. For more of our reports, go to VOA Special English. I'm Alex Villarreal with the VOA Special English Technology Report. Today, we tell about some of the top technology developments of the last 10 years. The technological revolution is changing the way we work and play. Mobile phones became smartphones with abilities like computers. Many people started reading books on electronic readers. Televisions became high definition and the screens became flat. Digital music players got smaller in size but large enough for people to download their entire music collections. Worldwide broadband subscriptions passed 500 million, and at least 2 billion people were expected to be online by the end of 2010. Stephen Baker is the Vice President of Industry Analysis for the Consumer Electronics Market Research Group, NPD. He says the technological developments of the 21st century have brought about some historic advances in consumer electronics. He said 10 years ago might as well be 100 years. If you look back at the way people interacted with electronics in 2000 and the way they interact with them today, there is no comparison. 10 years ago, there were no flat panel televisions. There were no mobile web devices or smartphones. There were no e-book readers, and very few people had notebook computers. Bruce Bockenheimer is with the MIT Enterprise Forum in New York City. He is also the Director of Entrepreneurship at Pace University. He talked about what he believes are the most important technological developments of the 21st century. They are mobile computing, digital media content, broadband, social media platforms, and user-generated content. Also, digital photography and global positioning systems for consumers. Mr. Bockenheimer says all of these things have worked together to revolutionize technology. And he says the technology is constantly changing, faster than at any other time in history. He said telephones had not changed for 3 or 4 decades. They could be on a wall or on a tabletop. But now, cell phone technology is changing every year. He asked, how many people have a cell phone that is more than a year or 2 old? For VOA Special English, I'm Alex Villarreal. You can learn more about technology on our website, voaspecialenglish.com. And you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and iTunes at VOA Learning English.